I want to jump to the next topic, and that is altcoin season. So we've seen Bitcoin take a nice little roller coaster ride here over the past couple of months from its all-time high in the 60 range. Where do you think this is going to line up in terms of altcoins and how they'll be doing? And then I'm talking about, projects like Cardano, Polygon, Solana, et cetera. Some of the bigger projects that are clear and present in terms of the altcoin space. What's your thoughts on the altcoin season coming?
So I think it's very speculative to say altcoin season is going to happen here. Realistically, altcoin season is dependent on Bitcoin. We've seen a lot of FUD regarding Bitcoin in the news. I don't believe a lot of things that are put out in the mainstream news. So alt season will come, but the thing is you can still make money in crypto. Like you can scalp anywhere between 3 to 30% pumps like per day, depending if you're looking at the right type of projects, if you know how to trade. So there is still money to be made. You can farm, you can stake, and you're not going to experience these crazy like 100-time pumps because that's technically what alt season is. Alt season is great, but at the same time, there's still a lot of people that lose money. So I think right now, because the market is a little bit slow, I feel like people should essentially spend their time networking, learning how to trade, maybe learn how to code, figure out what you're good at in the space and try to monetize that and learn. Take this time to learn and to build. Alt season is great, but at the same time, there's other things that are more important, I believe.
Yeah. So your thoughts on, are we in a bear market, or do you feel like this is just a small dip that is still present in track of a bull market?
So we're down about, I want to say it is, what are we down? I just got to pull my chart up really quick. We had approximately a 55% drop from all-time high when we were trading about $65,000, and we kind of grazed a $29,000 area. Right now, I don't want to call for a bear market yet because we are still in that vibe and consolidate area from approximately 33,500 to 37,500. And we're just kind of there. We really haven't had a candle close sufficiently below $33,000 support. And until I see that, then maybe I'll call it, but I don't want to call for a bear market yet. A lot of people, and if you look at the Bitcoin daily chart, a lot of people anticipate this stuff to go up and to keep going up, but it doesn't work that way. Trading and investing doesn't work that way. At the end of the day, I believe in Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin, but it is still a very speculative asset. I know some people might get mad at me for saying it, but it's true. All cryptocurrencies are. And I think that we just kind of need to be patient and see what happens. Obviously, right now, you're not going to get those crazy face melting pumps, and that's okay. But be very diligent in taking profit. I have a famous saying, create a moon bag. And that's basically taking out your initial investment, removing some profit, and owning that particular asset, that cryptocurrency, free and clear. And the reason why we do that is we mitigate risk. And if you do that when altcoins are doing really well, or even with your Bitcoin, then if price dumps, it's not going to impact you and you're not going to feel that pain. So just be diligent in your profit taking, use risk management, and don't expect that the top 20 cryptocurrencies today will be here tomorrow or in a year from now, because that's not how crypto works.
Yeah, I think that's the big sign is that, and we've talked to several people over the past few weeks, and kind of really kind of pointing in the same direction that you're talking about, is that altcoin season. Sure, yes, there's altcoin movement, and like you're mentioning there's some great opportunities to, make some plays, make some trades, and, take a little profit off the table. And then and when it comes to Bitcoin right now, if you were in at 28 and you did a little scalping, guess what? You're up quite a bit from just those types of trade activities that could be done in a very short period of time. I think a lot of people are asking the question, have we met the last, bottom? Have we seen, whether you're looking at the Wyckoff model, you're looking at the triple bottom, there's all these different, financial models out there that kind of point to it. I've kind of thrown most of these out, recently, because it just seems like it's become so randomized, both from FUD, movement in the whale market, to what's happening, in general. What are your thoughts on whether or not this is the bottom, or last bottom, I should say, last low that we'll see before we see a rise in this bull market?
I don't like to speak in absolutes, and I don't like to say this is the bottom, because guess what? The market doesn't care about your opinion. The market is brutal. The market is that it doesn't care. The market is built with buyers and sellers, with
That's
liquidity.
right.
And just because you want Bitcoin to go to $200,000 or to drop to $10,000 doesn't mean the market cares about your opinion. I know it sounds really harsh, but realistically, a good trader and a good investor does not trade or invest in absolutes. You go with the market. You
Right.
go with the market. When Bitcoin was trading at like $65,000, I was investing in a lot of different alts. I was talking about them on my socials. And guess what? That happened to be the top, even though I thought Bitcoin generally has bullish quarter twos to where we pump anywhere between 60 and 200%. And I thought, 65,000, 60,000 was going to be a consolidation area. I want to say it was 45,000 to 65,000. So I was still investing in alts. I'm down on some of those. Some of those are not doing well. But that just goes to show you the market doesn't care about your opinion. So for me to call a bottom and say 33,000 is a bottom, it's a little bit irresponsible. It's a little bit ridiculous. I like to go and cover Bitcoin daily to kind of pay attention to what's happening with the market. Because I can say this is the bottom today, then 20 minutes later we can have a 30% nuke. And I'm like, oh, this was not the bottom. So I just kind of like to go day by day. I like to do a lot of range trading or range investing where I'm looking at pivotal areas and base my investments off of that.
Yeah. If you're looking, okay, so let's talk to maybe some of the people that are watching this today. Maybe they're new in crypto, and they are looking at trying to figure out, well, is this a good entry point? Because obviously we've seen one of the lower lows that we've seen since our all-time high, but definitely not pre-bull market. So if you were looking at a new investor, time to entry right now.
I don't like to say time to entry right now, but what I will say, what I like to do to help mitigate risk, I've got my trading stack or my investing stack. I will take 10% of that and I will FOMO in. I'll market buy. And the reason why I do that, I quench that thirst. I quench that FOMO. And I'm like, okay, at least I'm in. I've got some skin in the game. But guess what? If you take your whole trading stack and you market buy now and price dumps 30, 40%, 50, 60, 10%, you lost. So what I like to do, I will take 10%, I will market buy so I've got some skin in the game, and then I will set limit buys all the way down. Or I'll set alerts on my phone with the different apps I use for trading. And so I know when price hits a certain area, I should buy. Or you can dollar cost average, but that's a great way that I like to do it because we don't know if this is the bottom. If this isn't the bottom and we actually go into like a 2 to 3 year bear market, then you're going to be caught holding the bag.
Yeah, bag holding for sure. And unless you are looking at, weathering the storm on the bear market and you're looking at the long term, which a lot of people are.
But what I will say, I have to interrupt and say, you don't want to be holding a bag that you market buy now, and then it goes down another 90%. And you're holding that for 2 to 3 years, when if you just were patient and you executed a different trading plan or investing plan, you could have bought at those low 90% levels.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm saying to be patient, not just to FOMO in. It's not about weathering the storm is fine with like larger assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but you don't want to weather the storm with an altcoin that you think is going to be the next Ethereum, and happens to the project ends up going away. So you want to be very careful and smart with your investments, and you don't want to be caught holding the bag, guys. It's you don't have to live that way. You don't.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think the altcoin traders, they've started to understand this, especially in this last, drop, and it really probably caught, I think, a lot of people by surprise, in the sense of maybe not expecting the kind of impact, even though with Bitcoin taking a pretty harsh hit. Mainly, I would say China kind of started the dominoes to move, and then we saw the FUD coming over from mainstream. That really has kind of helped at least create that uncertainty in the marketplace, which is obviously has the trickle-down effect on the altcoins for sure. And you're right. Yeah, definitely don't become the bag holder, especially in those scenarios where Bitcoin, little different game, little different scenario there. Any technology or projects outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum that you've been watching or you think, this is interesting, I'm intrigued?
I'm going to talk about the larger cap stuff because it's more conservative. I like to pay attention to what BNB is doing because they've got a really pretty great ecosystem. I like to watch with what Matic is doing because Matic is, a solution for Ethereum. I do like to really pay attention to Solana, and I'm invested in all three of these projects, you guys. And the reason why is because Solana, the ecosystem is like so underdeveloped, even though they're developing. And when I say underdeveloped, it's just not on a lot of people's radar because it's not as easy to use. But those are projects that I like to kind of pay attention to. Of course, the Polkadot ecosystem is amazing. So those are the types of things that I like to pay attention to. And even though I'm not the most tech savvy person, I think that those projects do have an opportunity to improve the quality of life for other people and make stuff for the front end user like myself easier. And those are types of things that I'm looking at. And I think the technology aspect is important. If you don't understand the technology, guys, don't worry about it. It's okay. But at the same time, pay attention to projects where follow the money. See who's investing into these projects. Are there are there well-known VCs that are investing into Polkadot? Or there well-known companies that are partnering with Solana? Who's Binance partnering with? What are they doing? Pay attention to that type of stuff, and you might be able to fundamentally outtrade some of the traders.
No, I totally agree. I think we've covered that on the show here just recently, kind of following the money in terms of where some of the big crypto and blockchain VCs are moving, especially if you look at the profiles and the portfolios of some of the companies that they're building into. That usually starts to identify quickly who the winners and losers are really quickly. Right. So it's going to be fun to watch. Hey, it's great having you on the show. Thanks so much for stopping in. We definitely want to get you back as things kind of shape up here on the market for sure. But thanks for stopping in today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Paul. Have a great day, guys.
All right. All right, you guys are tuned in maybe over on the podcast right now. Of course, give us some stars over there. That's how we get feedback from you. If you're right here on YouTube, make sure and subscribe to the show. Share it with your friends and your fams, all the people that you're trying to maybe educate on technology and innovation, which is what we cover here on TechPath. If you have an idea for the show, just shoot it to us, which is producer@revernetworks.com. Hit me up on Twitter @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.